Yo, yo. Oh man, ladies and gentlemen, ladies, and let me get my mic and stuff together. I'll be looking right. Ladies and gentlemen, let me make sure my mic is working. Recording, microphone levels. Let me turn it up. All right, that's a little better. All right, let me go to my Discord. I'm live in there. All right. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen? Good evening, good afternoon. Depends on what part of the world or what time of the day you're watching this very said video from. And like I said, your boy been a little under the weather. Oh, I'm gonna spill some syrup, man. Trust my name is on all these bottles of prescriptions back here. But listen, man. I swear, the older you get, the harder it is for you to shake certain things. Um, but anyway, I'm getting I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Let me go here first. Hold on. As you guys come in, hit the like button. We're gonna have a little fun here today. We'll try to. You know what I mean? I know I'm a little behind with news, and like I said, I've been a little sick. Literally, I've been a little sick. And listen, do me a favor, you guys. I got 14 people here so far. Like I said, as you guys come in, that mean the world to me. I know crap is live right now. Normally like to step on nobody's crowd and toes. I'm sorry, but we have like two different audiences. I'm not gonna be here that long, but I was gonna do this video earlier, but Christmas, kids, daughter iPhone, running around from T-Mobile, AT&T. Long story short. Plus I got up kind of late today too. But I'm here now. I'm gonna make it happen. We're gonna talk about a few things. Now I see everybody's talking about the Xbox 2 or Scarlett. I'm sorry, leak about the specs. And what's the guy's name? What's his name?
What's up, everybody?
The leak, I believe, came from Brad Sams, or yeah, him. Who's been spot on about things in the past? He's been spot on with different things in the past. But I'm gonna try my best to take it one step further. Normally when I do these type of videos, like mask or post, or D would come in and would break it down. You know what I mean? It's not, the tech stuff is not really my thing. But I always told you guys, this is real talk, since I've been doing YouTube, that I've kind of I'm gonna say this again for those. I got some people that new to my channel. Kind of bumped into a few people within the industry. You know what I mean? I told you guys before, maybe I think like 2 weeks ago, that I had privy to some DMs. I've seen some DMs, and within those DMs, and they were some of them were boasting about more or less, I guess the next generation. You know what I mean? Hold up, I'm about to be seeing you guys in 1 second. I was like to give you guys a shout out first. Hold on 1 second. Yeah. 1 second. About far as terms of power. I take you guys back to even earlier than that. Take you back earlier than that to I believe the Xbox One and the PS4 came out in 2013. Came out in 2013, right? And hold on, let me take some of these out. Xbox. Hold on 1 second. Bam. Hold on 1 second. Came out in 2013, right? Take that out. And what's that tech show? Teddy or Said or whatever the case. And I told you guys then that for those of you that have been here for a while, you heard me say this before, but some of you guys are new. Bill Gates was there. We all know that the Xbox One had a rough start, and there was a female in the audience when Bill was speaking, and because there was rumors, I think Microsoft just bought Nokia or whatever the case may be, and if you don't know, Microsoft really wasn't here for their patents. Microsoft gets, and this video is not about their money. I understand the Windows phones failed miserably. One of the reasons they did fail, which I don't know why, but they didn't get the apps like Android and an iPhone. But that's another story for another day. But they really bought them for their patents, and I forgot how much money Android and it pays Microsoft per year. Like Microsoft has their hand in any and everything. But anyway, this female stood up in the audience and was like, she said she had stocks in AMD. She had stocks in AMD. And like I said, around that time, the Xbox was kind of getting thrashed in the media about being underpowered, X, Y, and Z. And basically, Bill said there on stage, like, we're Microsoft. We don't have to play second fiddle to anyone, you know what I mean? When it comes to, in terms of power. And more or less, and if I wasn't so lazy, maybe I can go back and find the interview and find that clip. But it was at TED Talks. It was 2014, I believe the show was in. And basically Microsoft, doesn't have to play second fiddle to anyone when it comes to performance. Now we can talk about the exclusives. That's another story in its entirety. I'm just talking about raw power of the console. And to be fair, we have the Xbox One and you had the PlayStation 4. The Xbox One has a slightly beefier, slightly faster CPU than the PlayStation 4. And the PS4 has more CUs, has a beefier GPU. You know what I mean? It is what it is. You have specs on papers, then you have what you call real world performance. It is what it is. 900p to 1080p, and it's crazy. I've heard some of the most asinine resolutions this generation: 720p, 720, and 900p. And to be fair, console gaming guys, I've never, and listen, this is the truth. I always said, and this is even with the X, and I have the X and I have the Pro. I don't care about resolution because resolution doesn't give you better graphics. You know what I mean? It's the textures, the shaders. I can't tell the difference between upscale 1080p to native 1080p to even a dynamic 4K to a native 4K. It doesn't, because I have a great TV. Is going to upscale the same? Not a big issue to me. I've always said that. Okay, always said that. Okay, hold on one second. Let me get rid of that. I've always said that. Hold on, give me 1 second. Right.
By the
Who that? Who this? D? Who here, D?
E.
Oh, what's going on? Hey, I was just talking about you. Not bad either. I'm winning, kicking your back in. I said, normally when I do these videos, I always, have D, Mass, or post. This is you guys think. Hold on 1 second. Okay, even better. So I ain't gonna stumble through this. You can tell me what I got. So anyway, as I was saying, right, I'm gonna bring up guys. Hold on. Now I'm gonna say this, right? And I told you guys, I was talking about, I think when Moss, last time, I don't know if it was the last time Moss was here. I told you guys that I seen some DMs of conversation, and just to hold this right here, I'm gonna go on to what I was about to say. As you guys know, let me hit the like button, my damn sub. Only got 43. I know crap is live. I'm not gonna try to be here too long, but I said I was gonna do this video, and I know post gets off about 8:30, so it depends how long we in here. He might hop in. But anyway, so seen some DMs. And like I said, going back to what Bill Gates said on stage back then on the telly, he said, when it comes to, we're Microsoft, we don't have to play second fiddle to anyone. You know what I mean? About, again, just give you the Xbox, it still was $500. The PS4 was $400, and they were like, hey, why is the Xbox $500 and more or less, and it's weaker than the PS4 that was $400, and the PS4 is more powerful? And then I was talking about it back then. I was like, Bill said that when it comes to power, they would never be outgunned again. Moving forward, you got the Xbox One X. You guys know my track record with that when I told you it was coming, X, Y, and Z. Because I didn't understand back then how Microsoft is spending, I think it was $1.3 billion or whatever the case may be, with AMD and walk away with the weaker, hardware. I didn't, trust me, that's when they told you, the double stack GPUs, and you had mixed media X. And again, the same person that told me about the DirectX 12, for some of you guys been here for a while, You know, I was talking about that before. What's that show? I think what's that thing that they do? Um, and oh my god, oh my god, what's the show that they do? D where they talk about the tech, the PC, Microsoft. And what's the goddamn show? And it starts. It's like in the early spring, March.
Oh,
It's like in March and April. I forgot the name of the show. When this
yeah, I know.
so anyway, so Michael, that show,
Bill?
it's the GDC. It's called the GDC. This is the GDC. Microsoft did announce DirectX 12 into GDC 2014. And again, I was talking about this shit in 2013, like in October, no, like October, November. And I remember I got so much shit on YouTube. Actually, this is how me and Rich Review Tech got a little cool. And you're like, the Xbox DirectX 12, it's not gonna do anything for the Xbox One, and you know you can't just go and change the hardware. And I was saying, hey, and again, this is somebody I don't deal with the tech shit. And they was telling me, you know, it's on the software level, but that's neither here nor there. But I'm saying all this information is coming from the same source. Now, with that being said, not to get too long-winded, said they will never be outgunned again. You know what I mean? What comes in terms of hardware. And again, I've seen these DMs, and we can talk about the Zen, and I'm glad you're here. We can talk about that, the Zen and the Navi. I know that's that's your thing there, D. I can show you guys the DMs, right? But it'd be kind of messy. I'm not saying they want to lose their jobs, but it'll be kind of messy. I don't, like I said, I never claimed to be an industry insider, whether you guys believe me or not. I was going to try to get me the mask or somebody to, how you say, Photoshop the color, scribble the names out, so you can more or less see the conversation. But within this conversation, I'm going to say the higher up or the big wigs. Even I have some stuff in there from Albert Pinello. I'm a huge fan of Albert Pinello. You know, he's the shit talker. And so even talking about the xCloud, and he said that something, what Albert Pinello said that, you know, because now he's not in the company, that Microsoft, the way that they announced it, more or less Google put them with their pants down. So that was just something they just shot from the hip, because they wasn't just expecting to Google to jump out there with the Project Google Stream. So you remember when Google announced Project Stream, like 2-3 days later, how Microsoft came up with xCloud. You know what I mean? They still didn't have all the way they wanted to roll it up, but they just had to put that out there. Now again, in this conversation, you got Phil, you got Mike Ybarra, you got some people from over there in the Surface teams. You're not gonna know these guys any goddamn way. And they just talking about, how you say, quote unquote, next generation. And regardless of what Sony's going to, this is what they're saying. Regardless of what Sony's going to do, they're confident that they're going to hands down have the most powerful console that's going to stand the test of time. They're talking about the goddamn nuclear bomb. Now, we can talk about, the art style of the games and, the exclusives. I'm not, Sony makes great games and they take advantage of their hardware. You've seen my videos from there in the past. But when it comes to performance, from what they're saying, from what I'm reading, you can take it from here, that Sony's not going to be able to compete with them in terms of performance. Now, what could you tell me, breaking down, you say in layman's term, about the Zen 2 Navi GPU? And I'm going to bring up some of these things and I can read them because I don't want to put any words in anyone's mouth, but more or less kind of what I'm talking about. As far as Zen and stuff, like what's going on with that?
Well,
what do we have now? We have Jaguar now, right? Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah, we have Jaguar.
Yeah, the Jaguar is ancient.
Okay, what about this Polaris? So, what's Polaris? We're in Polaris, or we're not in Polaris?
We're not in Polaris. The current architecture of and over.
You're botting a little bit. That's me or you. Hold on, let me turn you up. Say something again, bro.
I said in January. I said currently. Let me turn.
Okay, now I can hear you. Whatever you did, now I can hear you now. But okay.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you loud and clear.
All right. What I was saying is that the current generation that AMD is on is kind of almost a second gen. It's kind of like a Ryzen Plus, and they're on the Vega. Now next year they're gonna go over to the Zen 2, which is gonna be on 7 nanometers. So basically, the node it's shrunken down, so it's a lot more efficient. You get more power out of it. Of course, they've made some refinements to the architecture. Computes better on CPU side. You get a higher IPC calculation, right? So basically, it's going to be on par with what Intel has, or a little bit greater for their IPC, because right now Intel has more instructions per core, per cycles than AMD has, and they can clock higher. So with the 7 nanometer, they'll be able to clock as high, if not a little bit higher than what Intel can do, and they'll be on par. And of course, they're going to be at a cheaper price, much cheaper.
Okay.
Now to have this in the consoles is monumental. Now we're hearing some rumors that there's going to be 2 different Xbox SKUs that are coming out.
Yeah.
So for instance, just now the regular Xbox One X we have now, without changing the GPU, nothing, just swapping that CPU into it, you would get 60 frames per second pretty much on everything.
Mm-hmm.
The CPU is really what holds back this race.
Okay. Now I've heard rumors. Also, they when they said a diskless Xbox, they wasn't talking about a diskless Xbox One S. They was talking about a diskless Xbox One X. That's what I heard. Not an S, but an X. Rumors they're gonna release a diskless. I don't know. To me, that that doesn't really make any sense. But that's what they're saying. I don't know what they can take off the price, because one of the attractive points for the X or the S is having a 4K Blu-ray player. But I've heard, but they're not going to. I don't know, but it's supposed to be a diskless Xbox One X. I don't know. This is coming from the guy, of course, Brad Sams. Him. He said not an S, it's supposed to be an X. But what's that with you Polaris? Okay, I know the X and the Pro has some elements which call quote unquote of Polaris. What's after Polaris? Is it the Ryzen?
Actually, no. Both PS4 and the Xbox One X, they have little elements of Vega. Got little things Vega.
Oh, it's Vega. So
but they're more or less Polaris.
Okay, Polaris. Okay, so just say, because again, you have, even with the PlayStation 5, you're gonna say 2020, whatever the case may be, right? Or so they're gonna bypass Vega and Ryzen and go straight to Navi.
Well, Vega's pretty much was a bust on the PC side, right? So they shrunk their Vega down to 7 nanometers, which is pretty good, and it'd probably give you like GTX 1080, a little bit higher performance if they released it in the consumer section. But they didn't. They released it just on the business side, and they're gonna go straight into Navi. They're done with Vega. Vega was kind of a disappointment. It consumed a lot of energy. Didn't live up to the hype. It didn't give the performance that people wanted. People wanted it to compete with a 1080 Ti, and the 64 competed with the 1080. In fact, it beats a 1080 now. But at the time when it came out, it was just so much more expensive. It burnt more energy. It just didn't make sense. And the whole mining thing was out. So people, the miners were scooping up these Vega cards, and it just ran up the price on these cards that it just didn't make sense from a gamer standpoint. Now Vega is much better. Vega, you can find a Vega card for like $380, $399, which is quite affordable to get GTX 1080 performance. So now it's doing good. You pair it with a FreeSync monitor, good. But the writing's kind of on the wall. They're going on with their roadmap, and they're going straight into Navi. And we've heard various rumors. I can't even say at this point it's rumors. It's pretty much that when Mr. Kadori over at AMD to be charged of Radeon. When he was over there and they were working on Vega, Sony used all of their engineers to help them, work on Navi. And now Navi's definitely not going to be exclusive just to the PlayStation 4 in the sense that that's the only machine that'll have that GPU. As on the PC side, there's going to be Navi GPUs, of course, by discreetly put in PC. But I think, of course, they probably have their own funky version. Probably made some alterations to it, so it's gonna be custom hybrid Sony centered Navi chip. Now, for the longest time, they were saying, "Oh, the Navi's just going to be exclusive to the PlayStation 4. The Xbox One X is not going to get. It's going to get. We don't know what it's going to get. We speculate, okay, maybe it's going to get a 7 nanometer Vega." Now, this rumor that's coming out from Brad Sams pretty much stating that it's going to as well. Mm-hmm. So earlier in the year, I did I don't know, maybe about a month and a half ago, I did a video on Lisa Su over at AMD stating that both Sony and Microsoft will have their own secret sauces. So this could be the case right here, where Sony has their own secret sauce of Navi and Xbox has their own secret sauce. Now, I would say how Microsoft counter Sony is that they got the bigger pocketbook starter,
Mm-hmm.
and Microsoft's contribution to AMD would be a lot more than Sony can. Let's be honest, Microsoft is the number one software in the world. So if they came together and designed something, that could give Microsoft the ability to put this in their consoles for a lot cheaper because they aided in the R&D of this Navi hybrid that go inside Xbox One X. But the fact that it has Ryzen 2 is pretty amazing because I didn't even think it was going to have Ryzen 2. I thought they were just going to put the original Ryzen in it, which is still a great chip, and still be great for console. But apparently they're going to, they want to even future-proof it furthermore. So they're going to put Ryzen 2 in it. That's amazing. That would give us 4K 60 for sure and all of our games. Like I said, if just with the regular Xbox One X right now, you could get 4K 60 on most games. Every game you would get pretty much 60 frames per second. Maybe the resolution, all of the games wouldn't be 4K because of the GPU. But next gen, going with a Navi, 4K 60 looks like what these consoles are going to be targeting. I want to say one thing as well. The some of the specs or some leaks have emerged on some of the Navi line of GPUs. 360, a 370, 3070, and a 3080. I think they're gonna be naming them RTX or something as well, or RX 3080s, whatever. And what we're hearing thus far is that it's gonna be faster than regular 1080. Now, I hope that they at least have performance that's on par with a TI, a little bit more powerful. I think that would be good. But even if it reaches a 1080 performance, the price is going to be cheap. We're hearing it's going to be like $250 for, right?
Yeah.
Consoles obviously would get a cut down version of the card, but I would say, like, if I had to go on a limb, I would say these consoles would be doing 4K high settings, 60 frames per second.
Hold on a second. What'd you say? When? I don't care. All right, I'm working. I'm sorry. D?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, I lost train of thought there. But nonetheless, Navi it's not going to be exclusive to the PlayStation 4 kit. I think they just have their own secret sauce. That's probably something that was started as a rumor to, boost interest in the PlayStation 5 and to that hope for the next generation. But in all honesty, it wouldn't make sense for AMD to make it to one of the consoles. It'd be better if they worked with each manufacturer to put their own flavor on of Navi. Just them.
Okay, now listen. All right, fuck it, man. I'm gonna show you. Well, again, hold on. Let me bring this over.
What's up, guys?
Oh, what's going? Hey, they go post. Come on, man. Post right there. Now, hold on. Let me not unlock this. Anyway, let me make this.
We can see an avatar, right?
I know. Hold on. Let me remove this and put it back up there again. Hold on. Remove image. All right, let me come back. But anyway, hold up. Let me see. I don't know. They don't like me any goddamn way, right? But fuck it, man. Hold on. I think I did my best to block out her name here. But anyway, I have a lot of. I have a lot of they say DMs, right? Treasure trove. Obviously, you got release the tapes. I got treasure trove. But I have some, and trying my best to blur some of this stuff. And think that Z is always. I don't have to lie about anything, right? I don't have to lie, right? Especially about video games. Like, goddamn, right? I know, like I said, my integrity is always in question. You'd be surprised at who I know and what I know. But I got a treasure trove of shit. You know what I mean? Because where I'm living, I might not make it to next year. I might just be stuck and still. Listen, I'm leaving. He say in my will to release the tapes, right? But anyway, I got a bunch of shit. But anyway, this is somebody from the one of the execs in the Microsoft community. We got, I gotta blur that out. Your blank will never not be the most powerful hardware, and we stacking the lineup. Storm is coming. Now, again, I told you, this is not, listen, my Sony brethren come. Now, I'm not going to void my contract. But in terms of hardware wise, um, they're, for what I'm again hearing, that they're really going balls to the wall. You know what I mean? Take it off screen. They're really going balls to the goddamn wall. They're like, you know, how you say that they got an empty check book. They're spitting. And to be fair, they got embarrassed this goddamn generation, hands down.
Yeah.
They got embarrassed. Well, and this is you know, you know, and it's just being real, because I always say this: if you want things to be better, you have to be honest. Here you had one company start off this generation and barely keep the goddamn lights on. You know what I mean? Just being honest. You know what I mean? And they really, and this is, like I said, I'm a fact check. I remember, what was it? Last week or week before that, all day said, well, you know, given Sony's track record, you know that they're great. Wait, I said, no, not really, because even with the PlayStation 1, the PlayStation 2, and the PlayStation 3, some of Sony's best exclusives were second and third party. You know what I mean? Like, same thing with Nintendo. I'll give you an example. Some of Nintendo's best exclusives in the NES and the Super weren't made by Nintendo. You had games like Double Dragon, Contra, or Castlevania, Russian Attack. Those were made by Nintendo. Sony had great second and party deals, especially during the PlayStation 2. And what happened during the seventh generation, you know, the developer things are more expensive to make. It was more profitable for them to go multi-platform and make, you know, more banging up than, you know, the 360 came out to be the behemoth that it was, especially in terms of software sales. So the games like Metal Gear or Grand Theft Auto was another one. It did come to the Xbox, but it came, you know. Well, I'll give you an example. When the Xbox finally got Vice City, PlayStation was released in San Andreas. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean. So you know it was like that. So the Xbox did get a game. It was a year to 2 years later. If it did come to the platform, Devil May Cry, all that shit back then was exclusive to the PlayStation 2. This generation, what they did with the PlayStation 4 and Hero, Spider-Man, God of War, you know what I mean? Bam, bam, bam. Of course, they started off slow, and to credit them, they did great third-party deals with, you know, with the multi-plats and, you know, the world's most powerful console. And they played all the right shit. You know what I mean? And listen, I told you before, I'm a little concerned. I'm a little bit, you know, when I say that, you know, when Microsoft saying no gamer left behind, I'm a very selfish guy. So when I buy a next generation console, I want that to be it for. Listen, if for those of you that have been rocking out here for a minute and what these guys talk, I even said that was my problem at the start of this generation, because all of the cross-gen development. You know what I mean? Games like Destiny was on the PS3 and the 360, and you know, Forza Horizon 2, Little Big Planet, Rise of the Tomb Raider, all that, Titanfall, all those big games again was on older hardware. I'm saying, imagine how good those games could have looked. Now, again, with that being said, so you have Microsoft now with this mantra about, you know, no gamer left behind, and you know what they're doing. And again, maybe the power may not matter. Maybe Sony games probably will still look better graphically because they're just coding for the PlayStation 5. Where here's Microsoft, are they going to cut off? Will there be you know, because even with the xCloud, if I'm not mistaken, those aren't Xbox One X's in the clouds. Those are, I think, Xbox One S's. So I'm a little concerned when it comes to that. You know what I mean? It's just going to be having, again, the better versions of the multi-plats, and when you have Sony exclusives that's still going to fucking shine. You know what I mean? So will power even matter? In your honest opinion?
Well, power is definitely, but in order to show that power, you need to have the. I think Microsoft has made the right moves by acquiring these new studios and, you know, starting to poach all these development houses and getting the best of the best. And I think they're in a good position to deliver on these things that we need for the next generation.
Mm-hmm.
I think they know the position that they're in, and just the fact that I hear from, you know, the bottom all the way up to the top, everyone saying the same thing in unison, you know, and the checking account's been busted wide open all over again. You know, you got the CEO telling everybody that we're investing millions and millions of dollars into our Game Pass, into development studios, into just making games. And I think Microsoft will succeed. This is Microsoft we're talking about here. And you know, it's not how many times you get hit or how hard you get hit. It's when you get up and you throw that counter punch. You know, you land it. You know what I'm saying? And I think Microsoft, they're just They took the eldest generation. It is what it is. You know, they're dusting themselves off. They're gonna come back strong next generation. Next generation, we're not gonna be hungry for exclusives. They got 13 fucking studios. Like, we're not gonna be hungry for exclusives. It's not gonna be a repeat of this generation, at least on the exclusive. I think they'll be fine.
Getting more too, D. They're still out there looking for more. I think, and people like to downplay this when I say this. You're gonna see all the Phil comments in the chat in just a few minutes. But you had a CEO that came in that didn't know nothing about gaming. You know what I'm saying? If Phil didn't fight for gaming at Microsoft, then we're even on the Xbox and Windows side, that shit probably would have got the boot, and they just would have been a services company focusing on Windows, Office, and all of that. Phil had to literally fight for gaming, and recently, the board is now officially behind Xbox after the Xbox division just posted a $10 billion revenue. I was reading an article where the board members was really, really excited about that. And it seems like everybody, like D said, from the top down, the CEO, all the board members, everybody is in on gaming at Microsoft. And when you get that type of finance behind you, then the only way you can do is go up. Microsoft tripped this gen. They messed up. Even Phil said at the I think at the Game Awards or in one of the interviews, he said,
Game Award.
"Look, I know people wanted us to show a new IP at the XO18. So that shows him that he's listening to the feedback and everything from the community. I think Microsoft is just, they woke up a sleeping beast. And whether people want to agree with me or not, next gen, you're going to see a whole different Microsoft, whole different plethora of games. And with the 13 studios and like the 2 or 3 additional ones that they're going to get, they're going to be able to give you a full year of games. A full year of games, constantly, back to back. You know what I'm saying? And then Game Pass is getting better. Then they got this new thing called digital attach, whereas you're going to be able to go purchase an Xbox or a diskless Xbox and get 2 years, say like you purchase 2 years Xbox Live and Game Pass with that. So when you get home, you have access to your games right then and there. It's no waiting or anything like that. You have access to a slew of backwards compatibility games, your whole library, and every exclusive from this era. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Okay, all right. Now listen, I would hate to look at the glass as being half empty.
Go ahead, brother.
All that's well and good, right? And then listen, I'm just saying again. Now, I see some of the comments. Power doesn't mean anything. Look, I'm just be honest. At the start of the generation, it was all about the power. It is what it is. Sony shit was, it is what it is. Right now, Sony is firing on all cylinders. Marketing, the deals that they're doing, 13 consoles, and the exclusives that they're releasing. God of War, It went from Uncharted to Horizon. And this is all subjective if you like those games or not, but it was huge for their community, for the PlayStation fan base. They went from Uncharted 4 to Horizon, to
even the Uncharted deals.
Yeah, to God of War, to Detroit Become Human, now Spider-Man. Next up the bags, The Last of Us 2, Ghost of Tsushima. I don't. The verdict's still out to me on Death Stranding. Like I said again, I think Neo 2, and they had other little games in between.
Days Gone.
Days Gone. Yeah. You know what I mean? So right now
they still rolling.
They so they right now they said they're firing on all cylinders. And I will say this, to be fair, no one, and this being truthful, maybe Microsoft can right their wrongs. You know what I mean? Again, I'm the type of gamer. Like I said, I'm always going to own everything. I say even going into next generation. Depends on what I see from them, you know what I mean, as far as, exclusive wise, but still the same shit, this, that, and the other. I chose them to get the bulk of my multi-platform on the PlayStation, whatever the 5, and I just, whatever exclusive besides Gears, all of that, maybe Forza Horizon, I would just have that on the Xbox Scarlett, whatever it's called, Xbox Imperial, whatever the fuck it's called, right? But like I told you, I'm just saying, as a, just being a gamer, I'm a little concerned with this shit with no gamer left behind. Now we're talking about, again, I can't show everything. I just showed you one little clip to talk about, with Mike Ybarra. If for those who just joined, I'll put it on the screen again. But I have a bunch of this shit like this with some big.
See, let me take care of you real quick. Shout out to Von Lamont with $4.99. If PS5 is backwards compat, why would PS4 players jump to the next Xbox? Sony set up to win next gen already with all these great games this gen.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you a question, and that's a good question for Von Lamont. But here's the thing: no one would have thought that the Nintendo would be in that position with the Wii U, having so much success they had with the Wii, right? Or no one thought that Sony would be in the position they was with the PS3 at the start and stumbled, and being the success that they had with the PlayStation 2. It's all about the games. You guys see, Vaughn, such as myself, you're tied into the ecosystem, but you have a lot of gamers that outweigh us. Don't give a fuck about none of that. He said they ain't loyal. He said these niggas ain't loyal. They go where the games are. So if Microsoft again can remedy that and start off next generation, and I don't give a fuck about no Halo, but they have something to equivalent or to those games, and they're out there firing all cylinders, and I'll just say I think at a minimum both consoles next generation are going to be $500. You know what I mean? Just say if their console is $500 and it's vastly more powerful than from what they're saying than the PlayStation 5, and the game show it, and they did with some exclusive. We in a whole new generation. Like no one's gonna be talking about last generation. That's just being honestly. You know what I mean? So I don't expect.
Talking about back compat, Z. Are Sony fans really talking about back compat? What they did to back compat this gen on Microsoft? How they trashed it? How they say don't want to buy new systems to play old games? How they clown Xbox fans? Did he just use back compat as a feature to prevent Sony fans not to purchase an Xbox?
Hey, to be fair though, I would want, if I was a Sony fan, I would want my games to be backwards compat though, because God of War, Spider-Man, those games can look fantastic now. Imagine, if they go into the next generation console, PS5, and the specs that leak so that it will automatically fix it to run on the current hardware with improvements automatically. Why would you not want backwards? I understand what you're saying, but I think they understand better now how it works. It is what it is on that.
Yeah, shout out to Overdone with $2. He said it's all about the game.
Oh, it is
all about
not bad again.
And like I said, Microsoft, they have 13 fucking studios now. More new studios on top of the studios that they had before. So what do you think those studios are going to be doing? You think they're going to be sitting there chewing bubblegum? They're going to be cranking out games. And they know that they have to crank out blockbuster games because they know what they're up against. Like they're up against the Spider-Man, the God of Wars, right the Horizon Zero Dawns. And these games not like, I know before there used to be a lot of games that looked pretty, but they played like shit. These games look pretty. They play well. They have such intricate details. Like they're fucking masterpieces. I'm gonna be honest. I've been getting back into some of my games lately, late in the night and early in the morning when my son's sleeping. I'm trying to play some games before I go to work, right? So I got back into Red Dead Redemption 2. Beautiful looking. But for the last few nights, I've been trying to get through Spider-Man to clear it. Spider-Man is such a beautiful game.
Yeah, Spider-Man was dope. That was dope.
The animations, like the cut scenes, holy shit! That the graphics in the cut scenes and how it transitions to the real game is it's seamless. The story is good. The web slinging is good. All the different costumes, all the little Easter eggs. It's a fantastic game. It's so well polished, and I can't say there's too many games on Microsoft's side this generation that were like that. The Forza series I thought was polished. I know a lot of people didn't like Quantum Break, but I enjoyed Quantum Break, and Gears of War, and Gears of War. These were the games to me that stood out on Microsoft's platform. All the other games they kind of came and went. Like Halo, I wasn't feeling Halo. This is the first Halo I never felt.
It was polished.
It looked okay. It didn't look that great. I'm not gonna lie to you. It looked okay. Halo, I'm used to Halo blowing my socks off, and this Halo, it didn't blow my socks off. And the Master Chief Collection, when it came out earlier in the generation, like, it was a fucking broken mess. That game should have been a huge thing, and it was aight, you know what I'm saying? And like now, some of these games are better now that we have the X and we're playing them on the X, and they look better on the X, sure. But that wasn't helping at the time when they were released, on the current generation or the previous mid-generation systems, right? So Microsoft, they know what they have. It's like in a heavyweight fight. You got hit with that counter punch. He was setting it up with left hooks all night. He, he came in, dodged your shots. You know what I'm saying? He fainted and he clocked you. And they went back, they watched the tape, and they realized what to do now. And they're ready. They're ready. They're ready for a fight next generation. And I think so. I think the fanboys and all these people, like everybody's going out of control. But I think Sony is aware of this too, and Sony's going to be on their A game as well. They know that they can't rest on their laurels as well. I think it's good for gaming. Period.
Yeah. Look, Z, you said something earlier when you said when you read a comment in the section that power doesn't matter anymore. And I was on Twitter and I was watching, I think it was Mad's Game. And he proved that he get more views on shows about talking about power versus about games. So, and then somebody tried to go, I think Porter Rock jumped on there, and he just kept proving. He even going back to last generation, even going back to the regular Xbox and PS4, that his numbers, he got way more numbers on talking about the power of the and the specs of these systems versus talking about the games on these systems. And people will sit here and duly so on the Sony side, being that they got games, so they have the ability to say, hey, power doesn't matter because we got games. But I guarantee you, the start of next generation, people is going to play closely to which system is going to be most powerful, which system is going to play the third-party games better, the same way they did at the beginning of this generation, and the way they did at the beginning of the generation before, because people want to play their games on the best hardware possible. You know what I'm saying? That's just how certain people.
See, I want to speak to one of your concerns that you keep saying about console backward. I think I honestly tell you, I think X a very capable console. I don't think it would really hold back this generation much. Now the regular Xbox One, if ideal, I would like to see them phase it out after 2 years and to stop focusing on it. And if you want to still play the current, you can still play your old games, obviously. But if you want to play the current crop of games, you'll have to subscribe to their.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. Like I said, they said no gamer left behind, and in the cloud, they don't have Xbox One X's. They have Xbox One S's in the cloud.
Yes, but how are they using? I don't think they're just another S up there in the cloud, and you're playing it off of that one. They're using them like as server. Right?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think
they put the S up there because there's no need to stream the games in 4K. So that lets me know that if the S is in that server rack, then more than likely S Cloud streaming is going to probably be limited to 1080p.
I would say it'd be 1080.
It's 1080p, no need to 60. Do 4K right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's why I think that's why they chose the S over the X. And then when you're dealing with them server racks, you get into performance, you get into heating and all that stuff like that. So from a cost and the performance perspective, it was better to go with the X than the X.
Mm-hmm. And I think there'll be 60 frames per second as
well. Hold on, my man.
Because if they want to price that streaming box cheap, you
get all the X's in them. And
I think 1080p 60 frames per second streaming, I think that's fair.
Yeah, hold on 1 second. My man Samuel Ashmate said, I'm looking forward to exclusive like I've always had. And my man Overdone not to be outdone. He said, with Play Anywhere around, I will stay with PS5 and PlayStation 5 and PC.
That's your choice.
Hey, you know what? I'll give some credence to what Overdone said. I'll be honest. I probably will get the next generation Xbox, to be completely honest. But I do have those thoughts like, why do I need high-end PC? And I can play all of the Microsoft exclusives on that through my Game Pass.
Yeah.
I think it's more the ecosystem that ties me in so that I can do like.
But that's your choice, D. You have that choice, D. You know what I'm saying?
But I can understand someone thinking like that though, that has a high end PC. Definitely.
Yeah. But here's the thing. Well, here's the thing. Even as far as with me, I'm about to get another PC. But even with that, even my PC I have now is more powerful than my X. But I like to play my multi-platform console with us. You know what I mean? We Battlefield. That's just not my thing, mouse and keyboard. You know what I mean? I'm a very simple guy, plug and play. You know what I mean? So
That's why, not to cut you off, Z, but
Yeah.
that's why we need crossplay so badly.
Yeah.
And like crossplay with the option that, I can play against you. So you know what? I'm not going to use keyboard and mouse. I'm just going to use my controller and we can play together and party up. Crossplay, honestly, tell you, crossplay would move gaming forward so many times. Because I got a lot of buddies that have a PlayStation 4. They don't have an Xbox or they got a PC and they want to play with their console guys,
Yeah.
And that would make people buy more games. Because you know what? Okay, you know what? You got 2K. All right, I'm gonna grab 2K for my PC, and then we'll link up and on your Xbox and we'll play it. Like, come on,
The
what are we
truth of
doing
the
here?
matter is Xbox is now a service. It's no longer tied to one specific hardware, and that's where we're at now. So I know we come from the age where the brand is tied to that one hardware, and we want all our exclusives on that specific hardware. And I think that's what Z doesn't want to see go away. But if you look at in terms of decisions Microsoft made, they're saying, hey, look, Xbox is a service. It's no longer tied to just a console. So whether you play our games on PC, tablet, phones, or anything, you're invested. As long as you're invested in our ecosystem, we're good. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the thing, that the issue that people have when you have those old time gamers like some of us saying, hey, look, I want to go back to the days where this is tied to this single platform, and that the only way you can play these games is on this platform of choice. But Microsoft has changed that. The Xbox is now a service now, so it don't matter. They don't care where you play their games, that as long as you're invested in their ecosystem.
Hold up.
And Sony started to make that step slowly though, but they're making that step in that direction too with their PS Now on the PC, man.
Hold up, my man here. Too many triangles said. Put hands and feet on their fucking post in Mortal Kombat 11. And my man
Disrespect.
and my man Emerald 14. He said, "What do you guys think about Ashen? I haven't tried Ashen yet.
Good.
I just downloaded it just now. Post, what you think about Ashen? I know you was playing it last night.
Ashen is dope. Ashen is dope, and as you see, the reviews is coming out. GameSpot just gave it a 90. Another outlet gave it a 4 out of 5. Single player wise, I wouldn't say it got some Dark Soulish to it in terms of difficulty. I know when you do co-op, the difficulty increases even more. But I was getting my butt whooped last night. You have to be real conscious
Dodge and
about
roll.
how you
Hit, dodge, roll.
about how you pick your battle. Because if you swinging a lot, your stamina go down. Then you get hit. That affects your damage. So if you go in think you just for the swing killing stuff, they hit your stamina down. They hit you one, get time, you dead. You got
So it's like Bloodborne.
Yeah, the game is tough. And look, people can talk about the faces misses, but it is some beautiful worlds in that game. The game is beautiful. They're beautiful as far as the art direction.
The game is beautiful, Paul. Stop lying. Stop lying.
We know what you finna come. The game is beautiful.
Artistically, the game looks good.
Yeah, it's
The
tough
game is
too.
okay. It's okay for like I guess a mid-budget game. It's not. It's not gonna
No,
melt
I
your
ain't saying it's a big AAA game, but I mean it has the potential to be if they get a nice budget behind it. But so far,
But the most important thing is how it plays, and it plays well.
It plays well, yeah.
It's fun. It plays good, but graphic wise,
Man, we
it's
ain't
not
worried.
bad.
Look,
Why do you sound like you're calling for? Why do you sound like you're calling from jail, man?
You sound like Kanye West, like he about to spin it through the wire. Like you sound
if you
crazy.
got Xbox Game Pass, download the game and see for yourself.
Sounded like Bobby
Majority
Schmurder on a track.
Majority of people I know who have played it love it. And if you look, let me see here. The game is beautiful, man. The game is beautiful.
did.
Yeah.
They got me up, but I need $20.
Like I was telling Z last night, you start off in the world, you start up in these towns where the towns are empty, and by the time you progress through the games and you come back, are fully built. You got it's a community there. So the game dynamically changes over time as you progress through the game. And everybody that I've seen that's played it, I've been on different forums and stuff like that. They actually are in love with the game. So, but it's to each his own.
Yeah, it's not a game for everybody.
Well, all right. Well, before we get the hell up out of here, we're checking again. So, if you had a prediction, I guess more for next generation, if we're going from, what do you say? If we're going from upscale, dynamic, or sometime 4K 30, and if you say the X is 6 T flops, right? If the Pro was 4 T flops, at a minimum. What would you, like as far as just roof on? Are you expecting the X to be or the Scarlett to be of this thing?
Well, for true 4K, you need at least 8 teraflops, right? So they're gonna have to be 8 teraflops and above.
I'm gonna say 10, at least 10.
Give me that white control, Xbox control. You say you. I hope Microsoft would put out an 8 T flop console. They're going from just 6 to 8.
I'm just saying the minimum what they need. If you want me to think what I think it'll be, honestly, I think it'll be between 11 and 12 teraflops.
Yeah, they're gonna need at least 10. 10 is the minimum.
All right, hold on one second. We got here my man. It looks like Top Dog. It is Top Dog. Next Xbox will repeat the OG Xbox. It too had a lot of exclusive in studio, and it had the power, and the only exclusive it being its first outing. The PS1 knocked it out of the park day one.
Hey, guys, let me ask this real quick. If you look at Microsoft's track record, in their gaming sector, in every division that they've been in, whenever they take an L, they come back ferocious. So they made a mistake, and they're gonna fix it next gen. I don't think there's gonna be a problem next gen. I think we're gonna have the power. I think there's gonna be some innovations there. I think the games are gonna look fantastic. I think they're gonna have the exclusives, and I think Sony will bring it too. In all honesty, the next generation obviously is Sony's to lose, but I don't think so. Microsoft is gonna go, start off the next generation with the handicap that they had this generation. I don't think so.
I want this same energy next gen. I love it. Because you love to root for the underdog, and I like the fact that people are saying Microsoft they're gonna never recover. They're gonna at this point, since Xbox is a service, they don't care about hardware sales anymore. They're just trying to expand their service to as many platforms as possible and get as many people invested in the ecosystem as possible. So, in its point, it's not about somebody said Microsoft still lost. It ain't about winning losses in terms of hardware sales no more, because the direction that Microsoft chose negates that. They don't care about that no more. Xbox is a service now. So whether they're gonna give you the hardware to invest in, yeah, we're gonna still get a Scarlett, but you're gonna have the choice of the ecosystem on whichever platform you want outside of PlayStation 4 and Nintendo's with you, Bill. You did, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, yo, they said Crapgamer talking shit about me on this live stream. Yo, hit the like button. I don't know.
Thanks too, man, because you pulled Game Pass up and I saw Fusion and Frenzy in Game Pass.
Hey, you know what? I'm gonna say this before we get the hell up. Microsoft dropped the ball with them back games. A, they should have Xbox Live. B, they should have a fucking achievement. The fact that they ain't got no achievements, no Xbox Live, I ain't even trying none of them shit. Bad enough they look old school as hell. So I think everybody in the chat, you'd be so kind to hit the like button. I appreciate it, you know what I mean? I don't know why them games ain't got achievements. They can do it, you know what I mean? And they ain't got no fucking Xbox Live. No thank you. Hell no with that. I ain't trying none of them old ass games. None of them, you know what I mean? But like I said, a minimum $500. Some people saying, $400 now. If you pay $400 for a 4T flop console, whatever from Sony, and you expect in a minimum, we talking about native 4K, 60, minimum, whatever the case may be. Don't expect that for $400. Like ain't no way.
No.
This is a business. It's not happening.
And that could be where that whole thing where Brad came in. There's going to be two different SKUs. That could be where the other SKU comes in that's a little bit cheaper. And let's not forget the X is still going to be a good console at that time. and that will get a price cut as well. So you're gonna have a few options.
You said you're gonna have the X on the market, Scarlett 2, and the S. It's not a goddamn consoles.
I think the S.
But there's room for it. The X, apart from the 30 frames per second, it's a fantastic console. It really is.
But it's not. But here's the thing.
I think the S gonna be on the market in cloud base. I think they're gonna convert the S to that diskless base. I think it's gonna be a cloud. If it's still on the market, it's gonna be that cloud base on the digital front. And then I think X and Scarlett will be there for hardware wise.
Yeah, but I thought the rumor that they was doing a diskless X, not an S, an X.
Hey Z,
Yeah.
the fact that they use the Xbox.
Sorry, go ahead.
What'd you say, D? No. Turn that down, Chanel, please.
The fact that they're using Xbox One S and the X Cloud lets me know that they're not gonna stop support for the Xbox One S.
Yeah.
No. It's
gonna be a couple years.
That's
because think about it. They have to support the Xbox One X hardware.
No,
for X Cloud. So why would they stop supporting the system?
That's not why they doing that, brother. They doing that because of cost, performance, and
I know. I'm not debating with you why they're. I'm not debating with you why they're doing it, but the fact that it's the same hardware lets me know that they're not going to stop support for the base Xbox One S.
That's gonna be cloud based a lot. That's why I said the S is gonna be there in a diskless form in terms of running those games off the cloud. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But that's what I'm saying though. So when developers are making games for the Scarlett, it's still gonna be the least common denominator is still gonna be the base Xbox One S.
Let's hold on, guys. You guys keep forgetting that we're on. Joel, open the door. We're on the X80. Open the door. We're on the X86 architecture, where it can scale up and down. You can have a shitty GTX 1050, and you can still play all the current games just really stripped down.
They only scale so far though.
Yeah, but
so you still is a Pentium 2 not an X86?
Nah, I you know what?
I mean, after a while, developers, you want to stop supporting older hardware at some point.
Yeah, at some point, but I would say, like I said before, like maybe 2 years into the generation, you stop supporting the regular S.
Right, but I'm saying though, but the fact that they're using the regular S inside their servers lets me know that there's still some longevity.
But
in the base Xbox One S, they're not going to stop supporting.
I hear what you're saying, but all the current gen games now, most of them can be played on like every single shitty card that's out. So I don't see it being a problem anytime soon, to be quite honest.
Talking about a server rack full of assets that's going to be able to scale and access additional GPUs and CPUs within that service rack, giving you way more power than a S on its long alone by itself would give you. Two, is therefore more than likely the cloud limit is going to be 1080p as far as streaming games. There's no need to put the X and those server blades, giving it the heat and stuff that it produces. It's about
the stream. The stream is going to be 1080p. The stream is going to be 1080p. The stream is going to run at 60 frames per second, but the game itself is still it's not going to run any better than what the original game run on the Xbox One S hardware.
Yeah, but that doesn't
if it's a 900p game running at 30 frames per second on the Xbox One S, you're gonna get an upscaled 1080p game when you stream it.
I understand it. My thing is telling you why.
Get him, Noah.
My thing is to tell you why they.
We don't care about your thing, fuck nigga.
I don't think the S is going to limit. I don't think the S is going to limit the Scarlett. Like I said, those are going to be in the cloud, and they're going to be able.
But you have to cut ties with older hardware. It's gonna. Like,
how about this?
They're scalable, but they're only scalable to a certain degree. After a while, you do have to cut off.
All right, listen. Here's the thing.
Older hardware. That's why system requirements are always getting higher in newer games.
All right, how about this? Maybe Noah, maybe D and Post, you would understand like this, right? Now I told you again. I didn't show everything, but I'm gonna give I can blur some of this shit out and show you some more juicy shit within those DMs that I got. But anyway, again, more likely than not, I had to bet my chicken. Microsoft's gonna have a more powerful console next generation, right? And here's the thing. Mm-hmm. And even with Sony, when Sony's developing their next generation exclusives, they're just coding for the PlayStation 5, so they can closer to the metal and get all the juice, all the mustard on a hot dog. Well, here's Microsoft when their games, we still talking about 2013 goddamn hardware. They talking about no game left behind. And again, I have no problem with that.
Z, at the same time, though, I understand what you're saying. With DX12, they could go to the metal as well, and then just hit the switch.
You got Xbox One games running at 720p right now.
But see,
they're running at 720p and barely holding 30 frames per second right now.
I agree. Noah, I agree.
They're gonna be able to create in the cloud.
I agree with it. I agree. I agree that they need to have
go to the cloud too.
I agree that they have to have a cutoff point. I agree with that. I think they need to cut off the Xbox One S 2 years in, and for those guys that want to play still that have an Xbox One S, give them some type of cloud service. I think that's an ideal situation because the cloud, they can use those GPUs in many different ways to give you more power. It's not necessarily just gonna scale it as a regular Xbox One S. Come on.
I think is going to happen. I think we're going to see some fragmentation when it comes to some of these games. Some of these games might support all the hardware, and then some of them might require at least like an Xbox One X and above. Kind of like
I'm all for that. I'm all for that.
That might be a possibility.
You know what?
But they can't.
Okay. No.
Oh, go ahead.
No. You know what? I think Microsoft, knowing them, and they don't want to, wrinkle any feathers. You remember at the start of this last year when PUBG came out. Now the developers, this is coming from them. They said they had to up to 45 frames a second with 2 weeks or whatever having the X hardware dev kits, and then it came out. You had the public backcry. Well, it's not fair. That shit blew my fucking mind. But anyway, I said it to say this, right? For Microsoft exclusives, I think they're gonna make it work. But it's all gonna come down to third party. Just say when you come out with Unreal Engine 5, and see if it can't run on, can't run on 2013 hardware, then you won't see some of those multi-plats, I guess, on them. But I think as far as Microsoft was first party wise, you see the art style, you see the Sea of Thieves. Oh my God damn it! I hope that's not the case, but I just
See, I gotta fly out of here, man. I gotta go watch Craps. I gotta get out of here.
Okay, no problem.
I'm only joking. I know I gotta get out of here.
That's what I have the issue. I think again, Sony, Microsoft may have the more powerful hardware. I just think when it comes to, and I hope that I'm wrong. I would think on paper if you get a more powerful console, the exclusives should look better. I just think even going to the next generation, I just think the Sony games may look better exclusively. We talking about Microsoft, PC. Then even look with Gears 5. That wasn't no Xbox One X footage they showed. They showed some PC footage.
Right. That's a PC.
Yeah, so the power of multiplats are going to look better. Again, they're going to probably hold that crown when it comes to multiplats. But I think when it's all down to, like you said, the meat and the potato, which is the exclusives, I think Sony's exclusives still going to look better. That's just my opinion. Now,
you make a really good point there, Z, because like with the Microsoft's whole thing is they don't want anybody to be left behind. So when it comes to their first party games, they're gonna want to make those games scale across all of their platforms up to the Xbox One S. Mm-hmm. But I'm hoping what happen is like some of the multi-plats, it'll be up to the developers to say, hey, you need to have at least this console to play this game. That's what I'm hoping to happen because I want to see them take full advantage of this hardware, especially if we paying $500 or $600 for it.
Yes, sir. I'm with you with that, man. But anyway, like I said, man, I'm gonna get the hell up out of here now. I'm gonna eat. We doing some Battlefield tonight. What we doing? Gears, Battlefield, PUBG. What we doing?
We could do.
So I'm gonna let y'all have that tonight, man.
I'm having a short fuse on that because I gotta start God of War at some point and playing y'all in these multiplayer. We hold that shit off.
And I call you up. Hey, we in Battlefield 5 trying to make a comeback.
Oh man!
Post up disappearing, fixing the sandwich.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Hey, yeah, man. Hey, I'm gonna say this for the record. I am a much better Battlefield player than Post though. That's what I'm gonna say.
What?
Hey, no, I'm lying. Hey, no, I'm lying. Midnight.
Nah, you ain't lying, bro. You ain't lying.
Yeah,
I was balling last night.
Hey, on the low, I'll be out there
I
laying
went
shit down.
11-5. I'm getting good. I went 11-5 last night.
Man,
And Z was
Hey,
4-10. He was dog shit.
Hey, Poster, you got a good gun on there. Hey, I picked up your gun.
Yeah.
I said, oh shit, I like this.
What kind of gun is that? What gun you rocking?
That's what Neve, man. That's what Neve did. Now when Neve come and revive me, he pick up my gun first and then revive me. So I'm stuck with that little medic gun. I say, Neve, go pick up an enemy gun or something. And then, lo and behold, Noah come do the same thing last night. I'm down.
What gun you rocking?
My gun first, and then save me.
Yeah, what gun you rocking?
You know what? I don't know. I got to turn the game, but I customized.
Let me know what that is. I might run a start a couple times.
I threw a scope on that joint. I threw a muzzle on it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I got a lot of joints I threw on there, Joe. It's nice.
Hey, so you drop them quick too, bro. You drop them real quick. I like that gun.
Oh yeah. Hold on, my man here, my man Manny Local said next year. Remember, Sony got better studios and devs as we speak later online. Most likely Sony get new studios as we have Naughty Dog, Sucker Punch. I think, to be honest, I think the Sony best studio, in my opinion, is Sony Santa Monica. I might be a little biased to that because I'm a huge God of War fan, but God of War was godly. What he said, Sucker Punch, Sony Santa Monica, and Insomniac. Insomniac ain't got Insomniac, man, but Insomniac third party, but they work closely with Sony. You know what? I gotta see what Sony with the Microsoft with this new studio they got. What's it called the interactive or the initiative? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
See what
that's what all the talent going.
Yeah, I want to see what they're gonna do. I want to see what I want to see what do you call them people? Yeah. I want to see what
that's be interesting.
Yeah. I want to see what what's it called can do with some money behind them. What do you calling people? Ninja Theory. You know what I mean? I want to see what Playground Games can make. I ain't gonna lie, Playground do their thing with Forza Horizon. Beautiful game. I want to see what they make outside of that. You know what I mean? So it's like.
Hey, I hope the initiative. I hope they come up with something like kind of God of War. Something like God of War.
Hack and slash.
Yeah, like something. I want them to be over the top. Like put all the money in it. You know what I'm saying? Motion capture everything. I hope we don't get no Sea of Thieves or no cartoon like game from that.
So you gonna get those games like that from Rare? What's they want? Undead? What's it? Undead Labs.
Undead Labs.
The Collision. What you call them, fuckers? They did You Happy Few. What you call them people?
Yeah.
Them.
Compulsion. You talking about
Compulsion? Also, what's the other one? Turtle Rock or Turtle Zip? And I don't know. But I'm just Yeah. People are stoked about Obsidian. Their new game, what they showed, so I guess
that look pretty dope though. That Outer World look like it might be dope.
Yeah, they going. I don't really care for what do you call it, Borderlands and games like that. What's the other one?
The game looks beautiful.
Hey,
I went and checked out the footage on it.
Yeah,
graphically it looks beautiful.
If it's done right and it runs smooth, I play it. But if it's like real choppy, like
people saying it's their version of what Fallout should be or should have been. I think a lot of people who enjoy Fallout 76 is going to gravitate to it because from what I'm hearing, they're doing a lot of things people wanted Fallout 76 to do. So and sticking to the roots of the Fallout franchise as well. So I don't know. We'll see. All I know is that I'm hearing that Obsidian owns that IP. And that Take-Two private division owns the publishing, which means that if Obsidian owns the IP, that means Microsoft owns the IP. So we can have another Mass Effect situation, which means that at some point, down the line, Microsoft can back the publishing rights from Take-Two, and then so that game and probably the next iteration of it could become exclusive to the Xbox
But
ecosystem.
shit, no, but no Microsoft, they gonna put that shit in your goddamn way, bro. That bitch your head.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, it ain't gonna be no exclusive, man.
Bro.
I'm just saying it could go there.
When it comes to video games, your boy Phil is a swinger.
Yeah.
He want everybody. He want everybody to get a piece of that.
Oh no, this boy
hey, no one took that shit left, man. He said when it comes to exclusive, Phil a swinger. I'm done.
You know how I do it.
Oh wow.
Oh, I'm done.
It's over. Ain't nothing else to say, man. I'm done.
We got it.
Everybody get the try that. Alright.
I'm trying to get killed. I'm on Battlefield right now.
I'll shoot in front of them. See?
They got me in the squad. I ain't never played by myself. I said they got me in the squad. Yeah, hold up. I ain't never played in the squad before, so what's this nigga right here? I mean, I never played by myself before, so they put me in the squad on the Mac. That was my team. I don't know what he was doing. This shit right here so addictive, bro. I ain't lying, bro. Oh. Good shot food. I hate that. As soon as I go to take a shot, boo, that shit just, man. Hold up, man. I was trying to bust my gun one time, man. Get one kill for the live stream, man. I'm right behind my man. Let's go do this. Let's do this. He back here duck hunting. Rabbit season. Hold up. We need to make kill real quick, man. Come on, shoot at me. Let's go. Let me get this kill. Let me get this kill. Kill. Where we at? What we doing? What we doing? Let's go right here. All day. Let me get low. Let me get low. These asses got low. I should have kept going. Well, this is your boy next December 21. Probably be streaming, man. You want to rock out and watch me stream, man? Hit the link. Grab me something to eat. We're gonna be rocking out right here. Hit the link. Follow me on. Hold on, man. Where we at? Where we at? I'm gonna be streaming. Hold on. Close that. Hold on. Yeah, I'm gonna be right over here, man. Getting it in, man. Just give me 2 seconds. Hold up, man. Yeah, he got me. Damn, hold up. Hold up. Let me get together. Let me get I'm like 1 and 3, bro. Hold up, man. It's, I ain't talking to my peoples.
Yeah, these maps is big, man. Sometimes you can run around and not running through it.
I mean, they was all on my ass party. Somebody just lost their life right there. We losing too.
I don't know what people do. I don't know what people, I guess people really took a chance with that SW thing. The big game is the first ever, man. I don't know why people don't want to support. I guess
This is hot. You know, I don't even like shooters. Got his ass. Give me that help. I need some help, dang.
Ich sterbe! Ich brauche Hilfe!
I'm right here behind you, bro. Oh, that not even me.
Hilft mir irgendwer, ihr müsst mir helfen!
He gonna get killed. He gonna get killed. Yo, I got sniped. From where?
Bin getroffen! Brauche Sanitäter!
You gonna pick me up, fam? Get me in your squad. You gonna pick me up? Thank you. First time I got brought back. Appreciate it, good
Helft
bro.
mir!
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's another thing, man. It's hard to like when you playing with people who you don't know, man. Boy, they will walk right past you.
Come on, bring me up. Thank you, bro.
You say you put down that bomb ass gun.
Yeah.
That's another thing. Is trying to get acclimated to the guns as far as which weapon to choose, which is the best weapon. Like, but no,
Can't see me shoot that. Where you shooting at? Can't see what you shooting at. Can't see what you shooting at. I'm trying to work his ass, hurt his ass.
yeah, I use my grenades now a lot. At first, I wasn't using grenades, but I use it a lot. And I'm dope with the rocket.
Komm, ich krieg dich wieder hin!
A few snipers from long range. Church or the other map where it's just like you got it already.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do. You grabbed it. If you didn't have enough health, it would have said hold X to pick up health. You got it.
Battery pack. You never want an extra one.
You already got that.
No, I don't. I can say 0.
There we go. Go over there to the other one.
This. Yeah, I need to see this.
Hallo? Sanitäter? Ich sterbe!
Nobody? There ain't nobody around me. Dang. BOD. You said the kids, the dog, everybody dying, no lie.
Some of the maps is like huge, man.
Hey, Paul, you might hop on with me. You see that motherfucking flashlight, you haul ass.
Yeah, you see that? When you know somebody's not the scope. Oh man. Shit got shot. She could have killed shot over there. That bus trying to do.
You know, he got up his range. A man got to kill everything over here. Oh my god, who the fuck shot me? Look, I ain't get that shit said, that must have been a head shit I got hit with. Yeah, I ran from the head.
That red indicator, whichever way it's on you, it tells you where you're getting shot.
Took a flush on rock.
You know Fresh Horn ready to rock.
Ganz ruhig.
Open that
Das wird schon wieder.
Him, Noah, and Noah brother, they be rocking.
They can play.
Be rocking, bro.
They can play.
On the real.
Let me get that. Yeah, but listen, man, we about to listen. I'm about to get. I'm about to move. I'm about to Z play Call Remaster. Now I don't play that duty, man. They ain't got my ass on this. But I'm about to stream. I'm gonna leave the link. These guys will come over and rock out for a while. Man, I came up with honest. Shit.
Hilft mir irgendwer, ihr müsst mir helfen.
They nigga came up with some big shit.
Mich.
And they came up with a Charles, with a Dirty Harry gun. Let me kill each other. Pick me up, huh? Pick me up. Oh, he getting his ass down too. We traded kills. We traded kills like a motherfucker. I didn't even do that up here. We're running all across the moon over here. I'm moving over here. The outskirts. Damn! Might bring me back in right there. Nope, I'm running past it. Let me lay his ass down too. Am I over here bounce by me? Nope. Yep. Nope, right behind. Get him. Come on, let's go. This should be like a straight war. They get him. Like to pick me up. Oh, man. Let me finish these guys. Alright, bro. I'm spawning on you, bro. Let me get the game. Hold on. Bullshit! Straight bullshit. Shit over. Let me run with my squad. I can't rock with these. Let me run with my squad, man. This shit over. Let me get it right. Ladies, thank you for rocking out, man. Listen, I'm gonna be live streaming on Twitch right now. Just actually, here's the link right here. Come right over. Come right over. We about to have some fun.